Just when the world thought that nuclear threats couldn't get any louder than this, Vladimir Putin has thrown another curveball at Washington. First, Russia test-fired its so-called invincible Burevestnik nuclear missile. And now, Putin has killed a key nuclear pact with the US and potentially freed up plutonium for thousands of new nukes. Now tonight, we break down why this is exceptionally dangerous. You see, back in the more hopeful year of 2000, Russia and the US signed the Plutonium Management and Disposition Agreement, or PMDA. The goal? Well, take 34 metric tons each of weapons-grade plutonium, turn it into a nuclear fuel instead of nuclear bombs. US officials estimated about 17,000 nuclear weapons worth of plutonium would be eliminated in this exercise. Now, this was supposed to be the Cold War's final cleanup drive. But fast forward to now, Putin says, "Niet." He has formally terminated the pact, the last restriction that forced Russia to shrink its nuclear material stockpile gone. Now, those 34 tons of plutonium that Russia had promised to render useless for weapons, well, Putin can now reclassify them as strategic reserves. The State Duma's statement, well, they literally called further commitments inexpedient, as in, why would we stop ourselves from making nukes? Now remember, this is happening at a time when small wars are blowing up into global escalation within hours. Long story short, Russia just unlocked enough material to massively boost its arsenal if it so chooses. Russia says the world has changed fundamentally since the signing of that pact. There's NATO expansion, there's US sanctions, there are Western weapons flowing into its neighboring Ukraine. You just need to listen to what the Deputy Finance Minister told the Russian parliamentarians about why they are withdrawing from this pact. He basically pointed out that Russia's demands for restoring the deal have not been met. These include A. Lifting sanctions against Russia, B. Reducing NATO presence near Russia's borders, 3. Arming Ukraine, as in stop arming Ukraine, and 4. Reverse anti-Russia policies. Now, all these things that the West won't do as on date, and that's the whole point. Putin wants leverage, nuclear leverage, and he's got it. Since launching the full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022, Russia has repeatedly issued nuclear threats. Days after launching the invasion, Putin put his nuclear forces on high alert. Last year, the Russian leader signed a decree lowering the threshold to use nuclear weapons. And now, the decision to end this plutonium disposal accord further strains that already fragile framework of nuclear arms control. Now to the timing of terminating this script. Now, just days before Russia tested the Burevestnik missile, NATO calls it the Skyfall. It's been marketed as nuclear-powered, nuclear-armed, unlimited range, can dodge any missile defense system, and its flight path, well, it's totally unpredictable. Now, Putin's launch announcement had a very distinctive military theater vibe to it. It looked and sounded like a message to the West, and specifically to Donald Trump, who has been increasingly frustrated at Putin for rejecting his Ukraine peace plan. So now, when Trump rails against Russia's battlefield moves, Putin's reply will not be a speech. It will be a nuclear deterrent. Now, the two back-to-back nuclear bombshells from Russia also come as US is weighing whether to send Tomahawk cruise missiles to Kyiv. Now, Russia has already warned that if that happens, it will do irreparable damage to Russian-US relations. This is military signaling, each side testing how far the other will go. Let's zoom out a little bit. Arms control treaties that once kept the world stable? Well, they're falling apart one by one. The Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty, for instance, dead. Open Skies Treaty, dead. Plutonium Management and Disposition Agreement, now dead. New START Treaty, another strategic arms reduction treaty between US and Russia, well, that's one's barely breathing. Every time one pact collapses, a nuclear arms race inches closer. This time with a hot war already raging in Europe. So here's the big worry. If nuclear weapons become bargaining chips again, who blinks first in this dangerous game? Because once that line is crossed, there's no rewind button.